Welcome back to Mainstreet TV. One of the biggest influences that we have had working with sneaker culture here in India has undoubtedly been the line of Yeezy shoes that Kanye has done with Adidas. And one of the most influential minds and pair of hands behind the Yeezy line in the most recent times has been Omar Bailey himself. Omar is kind enough to be here with us in our store here in Bandra today, working with us, talking to us about his new line of shoes under his new brand called Factory Lab. We're so excited to look at everything, talk to him, and get an understanding of where his design influence and his career has come from. Omar, how's it going?
I'm good, man.
It's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
This is great. It's good to be back in India.
Back in India, have you been here before?
I have, man.
Yeah, where from?
Sonipat, Sehu, Bencho.
Yeah. Tell me about your time at Yeezy. You went from Haryana to Calabasas.
Yeah, from Haryana to Calabasas. I'm pretty sure I'm the only person in the world that can say that.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I, once my time was up with Lotto, I was reached out to by Adidas about an opportunity to run their innovation lab, and what that means is that Kanye desperately wanted a facility domestically that as his ideas are coming out, it can be producing those ideas just as concepts and samples, right? Ended up actually getting an opportunity to sit with Kanye for about 45 minutes, put my portfolio in front of him. He had a chance to go through it, and we had a really nice conversation, and in the end I got hired and became
Did he ask you
head innovation lab.
did Kanye ask you what your previous salary was?
No, not at all. No, none of that. It was just.
Did he ask about a notice period?
No, none of. It was very high level, creative conversation. He's referencing old movies and scenes in movies and or whether it was Tron and this part that was this a specific product that was designed and the way that it was designed. He references a lot of that kind of stuff, and my mind kind of functions the same way too.
Nice.
I'm just obsessed with how things are built and how they're creative.
And then one of the most iconic designs that you were involved in was the foam runner.
Yeah.
This is you.
Yeah.
Tell us about this.
Yeah, well, it was already designed when I got there.
Okay.
But my job was my team and my team and I's job was to build the real thing, right? So we had this really unique 3D printer, very expensive 3D printer where we could print foam-like parts. And the beauty about it is that once we 3D printed it, Kanye could actually wear it. First time he ever wore the shoe out in public, it was a 3D print. But people didn't know that, right? They didn't know. So he wore it out, and he was really smart that way, where he knew the moment he stepped outside, the cameras were watching, people were watching, and that was how he would tease kind of the market to what was coming.
Right.
And that's what we ended up doing. When you're sketching and you're drawing a shoe, right? It's one thing to sketch it on a piece of paper, but to actually have a real thing is a whole different game. So that's where my team came in. We like to call ourselves almost in America, they call it the military, there's a division within it called the SEAL Team 6, right? And this is the special SWAT team that comes in that can that gets the job done faster.
What did it cost to make one finally at final production?
Ooh, I don't know if I can say that. Call it $20 or less, something like that. Something in that. Something in
$20,
that. In that world, yeah.
That's not bad, man. They retail for $100, $90.
Yeah, I think they were.
They retail for
I think they were 100.
8-9 grand, 8-9,000 rupees.
Yeah, and then the slides were I think 80 when they came out or something like that.
Why is the foam runner a better shoe than a Jordan 1 though? What makes this special?
The first thing I'll say, what makes the foam runner special is the shape, right? The team that worked on this when they were executing Kanye's vision of this, specifically of this toe shape, right? We call this the beluga toe shape, which is a beluga whale, right? The hump on a beluga whale, and brought that into the shoe. And this design language alone really like I think spoke a lot. And I remember in the beginning there were a lot of people that didn't like it. Right, there a lot of the early feedback was like, "This is terrible.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna wear it." And
Yeah.
then that all changed. That all changed pretty quickly.
Very quickly.
But I would say what makes it special is the shape. And you know, the thing that I take a lot of pride in from like our team and like everybody that worked there was that like, you know, really pushing the boundary on design. And this was obviously all led by Kanye and his ideas and his thoughts and things that he wanted to do. Define and create completely new form factors, invent new form factors that have not been done before is a really tough thing to do. And we made it look easy.
Nice. You made it look easy.
Yeah, we made it look easy.
What are some like specific designs where you felt like Kanye had heavy input?
I would say one of my favorite shoes is the, first of all, he had input in everything. I'll say
Nice.
that. The level of input all depend on what the shoe was, but that guy was involved in anything. I've worked with a lot of big stars and celebrities, you know, for designing shoes for Jay-Z and Lady Gaga and Gary Sheffield and Allen Houston and T-Pain and NLE Choppa and, you know, tons of people that I've worked with. But he just like, he stood out above all of them because his level of focus, his level of engagement in the process, I still don't know how he did it. I had a guy who was recording music, he's doing Sunday services, he was very passionate about architecture and doing lots of things in the architecture space, and then being so focused in on the shoes, not to mention all the other things that he had going on in his personal life and everything. And it's like the guy, I don't think he actually slept. Like he was just like, he was nocturnal and he just like kept going, you know, all the time. So the level of involvement, there was always some degree of involvement with every shoe.
Right.
Now, one of my favorite shoes that he was, you know, that he was involved in, one of my favorite ones is the Knit Runner boot. He didn't want laces in it. Like he didn't want any laces on. He didn't love laces at all. Like we just went through, there was this whole period where there were do not design shoes with shoelaces on them. Like I think it stopped at the 350 and then, well actually no, then the 450. But a lot of the shoes didn't have laces on them.
How do you think Yeezy will do without Kanye's involvement?
Well, they don't exist anymore, right? It's done. So like, that is end of an era, and it was sad how it all kind of came to an end.
I'm sure
but you know what? Like I'm always a big believer that, listen, everything happens for a reason, and I'm glad it was here when it was here, and was able to make the shoes make so many people happy.
Yeah. Tell me about where Factory Lab came from, what the plans are, and what it looks like today.
So Factory Lab was born from this idea that I always had, even prior to Yeezy, that I wanted to have a independent innovation lab. Factory Lab was born. So me and my co-founder and partner, Abhishek Sam, also Indian. You see my connection to India, like I just, it never ends, man. I'm actually half Indian. If anyone knows, you know, like I'll look at a few, like this is one of our shoes called the foam basketball shoe.
Yeah.
So Moonball. The idea was sort of inspiration behind Moonball. This is actually one of my young sort of designers and I worked on this together, who also happens to be Indian as well. So shout out to Vidit out there. So him and I worked together on this product, and the idea was, if you're gonna play basketball on the moon, what would that potentially look like? And this is what we came up with. Got to show the black. Can never go wrong
clean, man.
with just like a dope triple black boot, right? Like it's just, I mean, it's some gangster shit right here, right? Yeah, it's like gangster shit, man. Sunny Pot motherfucker right here. Yeah. So this is our flagship shoe.
Yeah. This is the first one I dropped?
This is the first one that dropped. And like being that we did the Night Runner, I wanted to create a slide version of it, right? And that's what this represents, is that. So just a really easy, chill slide that you can wear in the summer, you can wear in the house, you can wear on the plane, you can wear in the airport, right? We're launching this with Shiloh Sanders.
Sick.
He's a football player back in the States, college football player, and he's really been getting into fashion, and you know, he actually recently walked Pharrell Williams' Louis Vuitton show in Paris Fashion Week in February. He walked it, so you know, now he's like taking these steps more into fashion stuff.
Because if you guys are enjoying this video and you think these are super cool and you want to check out the colors, we'll lay them out here. Go ahead and drop a comment. Tell us why you deserve them. And we'll figure out how many pairs we can convince Omar to give it. Maybe by the end of it, it'll be 10 pairs. I don't know. No, but 2 sounds good for now. Maybe I'll take 1.
There you go.
So at the very least, we have 1 pair up for grabs. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to comment down below. Tell us why you liked it. Tell us what else you're looking for from Factory Lab here in India. And we work with Omar to bring it down here. And of course, subscribe to the channel. And follow Factory Lab on all of our social media. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.